Hebrews 5. El Cinco. Okay, is it on? It's on. For every high priest taken from among men is appointed for men in things pertaining to God, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. He can have compassion on those who are ignorant and going astray, since he himself is also subject to weakness. Because of this, he is required, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer sacrifices for sins. I said before, a lot of people don't know who wrote Hebrews, and I say it's Paul, because you can just see the comma usage. Not that they didn't have punctuation back then, but you can see how we need today to do the same thing. We use a lot of commas because you get this. And no man takes a see. Because of this, he is required, as for the people, comma, so also for himself, comma, to offer sacrifice for sins, comma, and it just goes on and on. That's very Paul. So also Christ did not glorify himself to become high priest, but it was he who said to him, "You are my son, today I have begotten you." As he also says in another place, "You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek." That's a whole other video. Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with vehement cries and tears to him, God, capital H, to him who was able to save him from death, and was heard because of his godly fear. Though he was a son, yet he learned obedience by things which he suffered. Luke 4. And having been perfected, he became the author of eternal salvation to all who obey him. We need to be perfected as well. Don't let anybody tell you any different. That's this whole process is. Selfish to selfless. Well, we have to be perfected. And yes, it does take some effort on our part. We have to walk accordingly, walk worthy. And having been perfected, he became the author of eternal salvation to all who obey him. Not necessarily believe, but believe and obey. Called by God as high priest according to the order of Melchizedek, of whom we have much to say and hard to explain, since you have become dull of hearing. Someone's in trouble. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the first principles of the oracles of God. And you have come to need milk and not solid food, for everyone who partakes only of milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. They should have been the people he's speaking to should have been further along. Okay, in their, they should have been further along. They were still like children. We're going to leave it there. That was Hebrews chapter 5. Love you. God bless. See you tomorrow.